The alignment of one person's Mars opposing another person's ascendant, placing it directly on the descendant, is one of the most potent and volatile aspects in synastry. In karmic astrology, the descendant represents the shadow self and the gateway to our past life interpersonal patterns. When Mars, the planet of desire, action, and severance, sits on this point, it signals a connection that is rarely peaceful but always transformative. The primal recognition. From a karmic perspective, this placement suggests a debt of action. These two souls have likely encountered one another in contexts of intense rivalry, physical survival, or unresolved conflict. The ascendant person, the I am, meets the Mars person, the I act, and feels an immediate visceral pull. It is often described as a fated attraction that feels both exhilarating and slightly dangerous. The Mars person acts as a mirror to the ascendant person's repressed aggression and drive. Because Mars is in the 7th house of the partner, the ascendant person may initially perceive the Mars person as the aggressor, or the one who instigates change, not realizing that the Mars person is simply externalizing a fire that already exists within the ascendant person's psyche. The mirror of conflict and desire. The opposition creates a tug-of-war dynamic. In past cycles, these individuals may have been adversaries or competitors who failed to find a middle ground. In this lifetime, the Mars person's role is to stimulate the ascendant person into asserting themselves. Mars is hot and impulsive, while the 7th house/descendant axis seeks harmony and When Mars lands here, it shatters the illusion of peace. The relationship is often characterized by intense sexual chemistry, followed by sharp arguments. This is the universe's way of burning away the polite masks both parties wear to reveal the raw truth of their desires. In synastry, the person whose ascendant is being contacted often feels the weight of the other person's energy. With Mars opposing their ascendant, the partner feels as though they are being constantly prodded or challenged. If the ascendant person is naturally non-confrontational, the Mars person will play the role of the catalyst, forcing them to set boundaries. The karmic lesson for the ascendant person is to integrate their own inner Mars. They must learn to stand their ground without feeling victimized by the partner's intensity. For the Mars person, the lesson is one of refinement. They must learn that their power can be used to protect and energize the union rather than dominate it. Severance and bonding. Mars is the planet of the blade it cuts. In many karmic readings, Mars opposing the ascendant indicates a relationship that may have ended abruptly or violently in a previous incarnation. There is a subconscious fear of abandonment or attack that can lead to preemptive strikes in the current relationship. However, if the couple can move past the initial friction, this placement provides the fuel necessary for a long-term bond. Without some Mars energy, relationships can become stagnant or overly sentimental. This opposition ensures that the spark never dies, though it requires constant tending of the hearth to ensure the spark doesn't turn into a forest fire. Evolution through friction. Ultimately, Mars opposing the ascendant is a call to evolutionary action. It demands that both individuals look at how they handle anger, passion, and autonomy. The karma here is not a punishment, but an opportunity to settle an old score by choosing conscious cooperation over instinctive combat. When the Mars person learns to direct their energy toward supporting the ascendant person's goals, and the ascendant person learns to embrace the heat of the Mars person without losing their sense of self, the opposition transforms. It becomes a powerful engine for mutual growth, turning two former enemies or rivals into a formidable team that can take on the world together. Sign to sign analyzed. Mars in Aries opposing Libra ascendant. This is a high-voltage karmic encounter between the warrior and the peacemaker. In past lives, the Libra ascendant may have sacrificed their own desires to keep the peace, while the Aries Mars person likely represents the assertive force they were afraid to use. The karma here is about unfiltered honesty. The Mars person will disrupt the Libra person's tendency toward people-pleasing, forcing them to find a spine and engage in healthy conflict to achieve true balance. Mars and Taurus opposing Scorpio ascendant. This pairing involves the builder meeting the transformer. There is often a heavy material or physical karmic debt here, potentially involving shared resources or survival. The Taurus Mars person provides a grounded, stubborn drive that can feel frustratingly slow to the intense Scorpio ascendant. The karmic lesson is stability versus crisis. The Mars person teaches the ascendant person that power isn't always found in upheaval. Sometimes it is found in the endurance of the slow burn. Mars and Gemini opposing Sagittarius Ascendant. This is a battle of the details versus the vision. Karmically, these two may have been intellectual rivals or siblings in past incarnations. The Gemini-Mars person uses words as weapons, prodding the Sagittarius Ascendant's grand philosophies with sharp, uncomfortable facts. The karma involves intellectual humility. The Mars person forces the Ascendant person to back up their lofty ideals with practical, everyday logic and precise communication. Mars in Cancer opposing Capricorn Ascendant. Here the nurturer opposes the architect. This is a deeply emotional karmic link, often involving past life family roles. The Cancer-Mars person acts through feelings and intuition, which can feel weak or irrational to the disciplined Capricorn Ascendant. The karmic implication is the reintegration of the heart. The Mars person's role is to soften the Ascendant person's rigid defenses, teaching them that vulnerability is a form of strength, not a liability. Mars in Leo opposing Aquarius Ascendant. This is the performer meeting the observer. In previous cycles, there may have been a struggle for recognition or leadership. The Leo-Mars person demands heat, passion, and individual attention, which can overwhelm the cool, detached Aquarius Ascendant. The karmic lesson is ego and warmth. The Mars person pushes the Ascendant person to step out of the groupthink and embrace their own creative fire and personal heart center. Mars in Virgo opposing Pisces Ascendant. The analyst opposes the dreamer. This karma is often centered around service and health. The Virgo-Mars person is precise, critical, and efficient, which can feel like a cold shower to the nebulous, sensitive Pisces Ascendant. The karmic work involves discernment. The Mars person acts as a reality check, forcing the Ascendant person to ground their spiritual visions into tangible, organized daily practices and rituals. Mars in Libra opposing Aries Ascendant. In a reversal of the first pairing, the diplomat meets the pioneer. The Aries Ascendant is used to going it alone, but the Libra-Mars person insists on collaboration and social etiquette. The karma here is the art of the we. The Mars person's drive is filtered through others, forcing the impulsive Ascendant person to consider the impact of their actions on their partner and to learn the value of strategic compromise. Mars in Scorpio opposing Taurus Ascendant. This is one of the most intense karmic signatures. The Scorpio-Mars person brings a drive for deep, psychological excavation that can feel threatening to the Taurus Ascendant's love of comfort. There is likely a history of shared secrets or intense sexual bonds. The karma is spiritual purging. The Mars person forces the Ascendant person to let go of material attachments and confront the darker, more transformative mysteries of life. Mars in Sagittarius opposing Gemini Ascendant. The explorer meets the messenger. These souls likely traveled or learned together in the past. The Sagittarius Mars person acts with a sense of moral conviction or wanderlust that can feel too much for the versatile Gemini Ascendant. The karmic lesson is focus and truth. The Mars person pushes the Ascendant person to stop skimming the surface of life and to commit to a singular, meaningful path or belief system. Mars in Capricorn opposing Cancer Ascendant. The master opposes the healer. The Capricorn-Mars person is driven by status, legacy, and hard work, which can feel cold to the sensitive Cancer Ascendant. The karmic debt involves authority and protection. The Mars person provides the structure and safety the Ascendant person craves, but the price is learning to respect boundaries and the necessity of external achievement. Mars in Aquarius opposing Leo Ascendant. The revolutionary meets the king. The Aquarius-Mars person acts for the sake of the collective or the unconventional, often challenging the Leo Ascendant's need for personal glory. The karma involves altruism. The Mars person stimulates the Ascendant person to use their natural charisma and leadership for the benefit of the community, rather than just for self-validation. Mars in Pisces opposing Virgo Ascendant. The mystic meets the technician. The Pisces-Mars person acts through flow, surrender, and sometimes passive aggression, which baffles the orderly Virgo Ascendant. The karmic implication is releasing control. The Mars person teaches the Ascendant person that not everything can be fixed or organized. Some things must simply be felt and released into the divine flow. Subscribe to Karmic Synastry channel and be one click away from checking your karmic connections. Find guidance and answers to your questions.